judges score the contest 48-46, 48-46, and 47-47 for the winner by majority decision, and
And still, ladies and gentlemen, the Undisputed African Fighting Podcast Champion of the World, welcome back to Fighting with Friendz. This is your One Championship news show. With me today, the reigning defending Undisputed Big Champion World Chief Analyst. 85% picks on one fight picks is, of course, Brother Gaia. Let's go.
Let's go. What's up, everybody?
BG?
Always staying fight ready, you know. All good. How's things?
All G, bruh. Also trying to stay fight ready, but you know, we're doing what we can. Speaking of fight ready, bro, we're gonna get straight into some big news here where we're gonna talk about Superlek. Talking about that he still believes that he can fight at 135. Upweighted to Yon X saying there are a lot of big fights for him at this weight. Just gonna quote the man here saying, I still want to fight at flyweight. I believe I can still make the weight if I'm disciplined. Right now, flyweight is very stacked and it motivates me to go back. It will be a new challenge for me. And that was at wanting to fight at 135.
Yeah.
But he's currently walking around at 78 kgs, which is I think about 171. So that's his weight out of camp now and wanting to go back down to 135. I'll just read what Tetsuya said on the side here. His nutritionist said he will need at least 3 to 4 months to make 61 kgs. In the worst case scenario, if he can no longer make the weight, he will have to vacate his flyweight kickboxing belt, which he hasn't defended since January 2024. So lots to unpack here, BG. So yeah, I'll give it straight to you, bro. Give us your thoughts on this one here, broski.
Well, I mean, firstly, he has to fight in that division because he's still the title holder of that division in terms of the flyweight kickboxing. I'm not too sure about flyweight Muay Thai. I mean, when he fought Rodtang, I think was that flyweight? I can't remember now, but it wasn't for the belt because he didn't make the weight anyway, so they couldn't fight for it anyway. So Rodtang's fighting Nongo for the flyweight Muay Thai belt now. But he's still the flyweight kickboxing champion. You know what I mean? So at some point he's gonna have to make the weight anyway. At which point, if he does, it is true. The flyweight Muay Thai division right now is stacked with killers, and not only are they stacked with killers, they're stacked with fighters that are calling out for Superlek. More noticeably of Otikov, Sanjan Otikov and Akif Kulazada. They both are saying they want Superlek. Obviously, they're both still very young, but I can understand why you're in the top 5 of that division. They just took out the best guys in Kong Torani and Zhao Shiai. That's outside of Rodtang and Nong O, and that puts them up into the higher bracket now, right? And I can understand why. But can Superlek still make the weight? I'm not gonna lie, I'm quite doubtful. Especially considering the landscape of the bantamweight bantamweight kickboxing division, where he lost his title to Nabil. He obviously would like to get a run back there, and also he's mainly focused on Yuki Yoza right now, which is bantamweight. So I think, according to his nutritionist, that means if he's going to go back to flyweight, we're going to see that mid 2026, if that's going to be the case. Also depends on what happens if he win or loses to Yuki Yoza. Where is that pushing? Because if he loses to Yuki, then he's going to be faced with the question of, does he stick in the bantamweight division to go for that title again? For against who's the bantamweight kickboxing champion, Jonathan Agnew, or could he go back for the bantamweight Muay Thai title, or does he defend his flyweight? Meaning, there's so many options left. It all depends on whether he wins or loses. I think that if he loses, he's probably going to try and cut down to flyweight. So I feel like he probably finds those fights to be more exciting. Because to be quite frank, dude, the bantamweight kickboxing is hectic. It's Nabil, it's Anahachi, who also beat Superlek, by the way. There's Yuki Yoza, there's Wei Rui. It's a big division. I know he beat Jonathan Agnew, but I mean, Agnew would love to get the run back against him, and I think he probably feels the bantamweight might just be a bit of a stitch to stay there. And I think going down to flyweight, Superlek has many advantages there in flyweight, considering that he's actually a big flyweight dude if he goes down. So I don't know. But I just looking at his camp, looking at his injuries, looking at his training videos, I'm a bit doubtful for him actually making flyweight again. But in a nutshell, I think either division, whichever one he sticks into, will be a reward for all of us as fans because both Muay Thai, both bantamweight and flyweight, Muay Thai and kickboxing is just filled from number 1 all the way down to number 10. You can even go to number 15. It's all just straight up killers that can all beat each other pretty good fashion. So yeah, I'm keen to see what Superlek does after this fight against Yuki Yoza.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, lots of options there, BG. But yeah, again, we have to reiterate that there's a lot riding on this Yuki Yoza fight now because
Yes.
honestly, two fights lost in a row on one time not making weight. It doesn't speak well to him as an athlete, but I feel like either way, like his name does still hold enough weight that even if he did lose to Yuki Yoza, that he'd still be able to pull a crowd. He'd still draw eyeballs. But it can't go on for too much longer because if he loses 3 on the spin, bro, then people are gonna start having their doubts about like, is he over the hill? Is he past it? You know what I mean? So it's a very big fight with Yuki coming up in the next 2 fights for sure. Gonna be big in Superlek's career. Condition Nutrition was in the comment section here, bro. Also, Condition Nutrition, of course, work closely with Rodtang and Rodtang and Nabil Anan. He was just he just sent like a Donald Trump gift here to show that he's gotta get part of the team here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Gotta get back on the team.
Peter Miller has like saved so many fighters' lives, bro, in terms of not losing the belt on the scale anymore. You know what I mean? All these guys are talking about him. We had JDB on our channel and he spoke about Peter Miller. So I would also recommend for Rodtang to get, Superlek to get in there, and it's gonna be helpful. It's gonna be beneficial. But to be quite honest with you, I think he should just stay at bantamweight. I really do think so. I see a lot of people online are saying that the best Superlek that we saw was Superlek at flyweight, where he just looked like he's. If you think about the fight where he fought against Takeru, I mean that was a masterful display. And Superlek's not that old, guys. He's under 30. He's only 28. So this dude can fight for some years still to come. And I think going forward, it's probably better for his health to stay at bantamweight and don't go through such drastic weight cuts.
Yeah,
but I mean,
sure.
stay at bantamweight. You've got some stories, like these plot lines that we can unpack in terms of the brand with Nabil Anan, and Hachi, 2 of the guys who beat you, the only 2 guys that beat you in the organization are in that division. You could run backs with both of them. You know what I mean? There's Haggerty who would want to fight you back. There's lots of storylines they could go there with Superlek. If he goes down to flyweight, it's only Rodtang and Takeru. They want to fight each other. So it's like the only thing we're going to see is him fighting against the fresh meat. The Jiao Suyais, the knock drops, the Kongtoranis, who you beat already, Otikov, Shimon Yoshinari, Akif Kulazada. Those are the fights that he's going to take on. It's all those new fresh guys, which will make for exciting fights to watch. I mean, imagine Superlek flyweight versus Shimon Yoshinari. Rematch, bro. Rematch.
Yeah.
But I mean, Superlek was able to make that weight, and to be quite frank, he hasn't been able to make it successfully, bar the fight against Takeru of late. He obviously was fighting flyweight before this, but that's when he was much younger, smaller body. He's a grown ass man now. He's much bigger. He has more muscle tissue. He's a fuller density body, and I think bantamweight will probably suit him better there. The only thing that will be a problem for him is the height of a lot of the opponents. But let's be real, he's the only guy to actually beat Nabil Anan. He had no issues with the height. So I think Superlek will do a much better job staying at 135.
Condition Nutrition, Mr. Superlek, you gotta eat them up, bro.
Not 135. The bantamweight division in one championship is 145.
145. But yeah, Condition Nutrition. I mean, we saw Rodtang miss weight, and then his next fight after joining Condition Nutrition, he finishes Takeru in the first round. So, maybe something to take away from that, Mr. Superlek. Speaking of Rodtang, bro, and this one probably excites me very, very much. I've been calling for Tenshin Nasukawa to return to kickboxing for the longest time. He's of course doing his thing in boxing at the moment. But Rodtang seems to feel the same here, coming out on Facebook, and I'll quote the man saying, "In the end, all I want in my fighting career is just to face you one more time. No matter the rules, bring it on. If I don't get to meet you, I will keep fighting until I do. That time will surely be my last, and when it will be, when I finally take my revenge on you, Tenshin." Epic storyline here, bro.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, Tenshin Nasukawa undefeated as a kickboxer. Like I said, doing his thing in boxing now. But it really seems like a very real possibility that he might come to one championship for at least a one fight contract. PG, your thoughts here, please, sir.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. I see a lot of fans in the comments or with this post in particular on Tetsuya's account are going down the middle. There's some people saying Rodtang won the fight. Some people saying Tenshin actually won the fight. And look, I didn't watch the fight. I didn't even know they fought until you told me about this earlier in the year. And I'd like to go watch the run back to see what it's all about. But it really does look like Chowdhury is trying to get Tenshin to sign with one. I don't know if it's going to be a one fight or multiple fight contract like Rukiya Anpo's one. But dude, it looks like Tenshin is a mega star in Japan. You say he's undefeated in kickboxing. He's obviously considered to be one of the greatest to do it. And he beat Rodtang, bro. While they both still are in their prime, I think Tenshin's still also under 30 years old. So I think make it happen as soon as possible. If Takeru loses to Dennis Puric and Rodtang beats Nong-O, I say sign Tenshin immediately after that. Make it happen. That's the fight we want to see. He's obviously high level. I've seen some of the videos whenever he enters the Rise or Ryzen events, then the crowd goes nuts for him. Look, they beat Takeru as well. So that's dude. That speaks so highly. And Takeru is regarded as one of the greatest to ever do it in Japan. People put Takeru bigger than Goku. You know what I mean? So Tenshin beat him. There's a loss. He lost to Floyd Mayweather.
Bro. Exhibition boxing. Taiki Naito also. Rodtang.
He beat Taiki Naito as well. So he's wiped out all the top Suwakim. He's wiped out all the top names that we all go nuts for here on our channel and also currently today fan base. So one championship wouldn't be doing themselves a favor if they didn't get this guy. They should definitely consider putting pen to paper with Tenshin Nasukawa. Especially if your megastar in Rodtang is calling for the fight. Like, give him the bag, bro. Let's make it happen. The fans want to see it as well.
Yeah, honestly, it is such a simple choice here, bro. It's just a matter about getting the numbers right. Because, that basically sets up your next pay-per-view in Japan. Easy.
Literally.
You know what I mean? You just put him on there's your main event for the next pay-per-view in Japan, bro. Sorted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So make it happen then, Uncle Charlie.
We do it. The 175 card. Because the 174 card is going to be in Malaysia.
Jojo Ghazali definitely main eventing that one. For sure.
100%.
Hey. Gotta love it. Let us know. Yeah.
For real though, I saw some posts about Tenshin Nasukawa talking about potentially signing with one, and Chowdhury also making posts about it, like he's trying to make it happen. I think there should be a top priority for the company.
Yeah, 100%, bro. I mean, like I said, I think last year sometime we spoke about who we'd like to see brought to the one championship, and this guy was very much at the top of my list. So, yeah, hoping and praying for it to happen. Do you have any final thoughts on this one, BG?
No, I think that's about it. Because right now it's a lot of up in the air. We have to wait for a lot of things to happen. So I think we can move on.
It is still speculation, ladies and gentlemen, but manifest it for us there. Would love to see that one happen. Please drop us a manifest emoji in the comments if you can find that one. Anyway, we'll keep moving here. And here we have Rukiya Anpo coming out in the media, and he had some very nice words to say about Nadaka Yoshinari. And he says, just from watching his presence and expression he makes and his expression as he makes his entrance, you can already feel that he's reached the same level as Naoya Inoue. I think Nadaka has reached the point where no matter how hard you try, it's impossible to imagine him losing, and that is a massive statement.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, it's difficult to argue with as well.
Yeah.
I'll get your
Yeah.
thoughts on this one, BG, but we need to, of course, talk about the dream matchup that was brought up to be Nadaka Yoshinari versus John DeBella. So I'd like to get your thoughts on that matchup and how you see that one playing out. But yeah, give us your thoughts on what the comments have said here, bro.
Yeah. Look, firstly, when I first read this comment from Rukiya Anpo, my initial thought was like, I disagree. But that's because I was unpacking it, it was the two sections of the comment, because I agree with the last part in the sense that it's difficult to imagine both these fighters losing a fight because of the quality of fighting, right? I just don't know if I would agree with on the same level. You know what I mean? I think now we are in a way. He's got so much experience that Nadaka must still get to. I mean, now I know he's now 31 years old. Eddie Atlas is rating him as one of the best boxers currently, pound for pound, behind Bud Crawford. And that's a big statement from a legendary boxing coach to say something like that, and an analyst as well. So for that reason, I'm like, Nadaka still needs to get there. I know Nadaka's got, in terms of Muay Thai, he's got so many belts, right? So many championships. I just think that securing a global championship like the one belt would put him into that category as the same level, because now in a ways titles are global titles. It's not like it's just only doing it in Japan, you know what I mean, or only or in Asia. But in terms of thinking about, no matter how you try and thinking about him losing, I agree there. Because whenever I think of Nadaka, it's like, oh, what do you do? What if I is gonna do to beat this guy? Now I know Noom Sirin poses a lot of threats for him, with the power and the reach. But when you see Nadaka fight, it's like he's fighting something else. It's like Nadaka is literally competing in a different sport. When you watch the fight, when you watch him fight, it's like his opponents are doing one thing and he's doing something that's not even in this realm. You know what I mean? And I think now in a way it's exactly the same when you watch his boxing. I remember when I got you on this guy 80 a couple of years back. I said, watch this guy fight this Naoya Inoue, and it's just the style of like boxers doesn't know what to do with him. Too precise, too fast, it's just too much levels above everybody. And I think Nadaka Yoshinari is on his way there. I really do think so. I think capturing a global title will definitely put him over the edge. Oh,
yeah, before we get to that, just kind of want to reiterate that I think just because these guys are, like you mentioned, they almost like they're operating on a different level to everybody else, man. And I think that's kind of where Rukiya Anpo is drawing the comparison from. It's just when you look at it and you see these guys fight, it's just that they're like so far ahead of the opponents, bro. And I think that's kind of where the comparison's coming from. But I do agree. Nadaka does have, and it's almost difficult to say this because he's at such a high level, but he's got he can improve so much still, bro. You know what I mean? So he might even end up being better than Inoue at the end of his career, bro. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So I just wanted to draw that comparison, but did want to get your thoughts on JDB versus Nadaka in a dream matchup, at whatever weight you think would be best. Just because, I mean, the speed here, bro, we'd probably need to get like some kind of device to slow down the fight for us normal human beings to watch this one, bro. Because the hand speed on these two is ridiculous, bro. It will be like some Matrix shit that we'll be watching here, and so who wins that fight for you, bro? Try not to be biased considering the history.
I can't be biased here because I'm a fan of both guys, and you might actually give me a nani for saying this, but I think that Nadaka Yoshinari may have the edge in terms of evasive fighting and defensive fighting. So in terms of speed, they're very, very similar going forward. I think JDB's boxing is a little bit sharper. I think it's a little bit more devastating in terms of boxing. But Nadaka has precision, and he's got creativity. He's also got the ability where I think he has the edge over JDB. It's the defense and the evasiveness. Because we've seen JDB, a lot of his fights, as fast as he is, fighters still land on him. You know what I mean? He's not talking about Touch Chai's power and Sam A's power out of nowhere. It's because they were able to hit him. They were able to land on him, right? That's why you can make that measurement of who hits harder between the two fighters. And I've watched now enough of JDB to notice, okay, people can crack him or they can land on him at least. Whereas Nadaka Yoshinari, this man barely gets touched, bro. He's checking a low kick, but in the same time he's dodging your left straight, and then he's coming back with something so fast you don't even know what's happening. You know what I mean? And I think that will be a very key factor in the fight between JDB and Nadaka. Is they both can do the offensive fighting and be fast and go there and be creative. However, it's probably going to come down to who's not able to stay the cleanest and land the most. And I think because Nadaka showcases a little bit better defense, that might be the main key factor in a fight like that. Another big factor would be JDB is not a small strawweight. He's a big 125er, and if I'm not mistaken, yeah, that is the weight class in strawweight 125 in one championship. Other guy is 115. He don't look like he can put on anything more than what he's at, to be quite honest with you. Another guy is not a big dude. He can't probably get fuller than what he is. So it'll be quite an interesting match. It would most likely mean that JDB would have to cut down a little bit more, or they would have to do it at catch weight at like 120 or 118. At which point, I'm not too sure who that will favor. It might even favor Nadaka a little bit more because JDB already has tough times with these weight cuts.
Do you think Nadaka walks around at 115, or does he cut to 115?
Nah, I think he walks around at like 120, 125.
I mean, he could put on another 5 pounds, bro, for the fight. You know what I mean? 2.5 kgs of muscle. Why not? To make that fight happen, I mean, come on, bro.
For me, you have to do with that. Actually, yeah, I think Nadaka should go up. It'll be easy for Nadaka to put on the pounds than it would be for JDB to take it down.
Agreed.
But make no mistake, JDB has got massive advantages with that height. Not only is he as fast as Nadaka, but he's got a very significant reach advantage. Very significant.
Yeah.
And also depends on what they do with that. Is it 4 ounces? They're doing boxing gloves. What gloves are they fighting at?
Probably kickboxing in my mind. Just because we haven't seen a JDB Muay Thai fight yet. So, yeah. But anyway, this is, of course, all very much still fantasy and science fiction, bro. So we should get back into reality here and keep moving to a banger, bro. Another banger to look forward here. We got Suriyanlek versus Decho 2.
Yeah.
And this is scheduled for one Friday fights, 131 by the looks of it.
That's next week,
So BG, give us... Oh yeah, that's next week actually.
Yeah.
So give us your instant reaction here, bro.
Firstly, just like scroll down a little bit further to see that post of Chowdhury. It's all they let's say it's a Halloween card. This is what Chowdhury's gonna wear on the day. Anyway, back to the fight. Firstly, I can understand why they're doing the rematch. If I'm not, memory serves me well. Decho won the fight the first time, even though they were both guys got knockdowns. It was just a straight up war because Decho was out on the outside in the first round, just polishing Suriyanlek the whole time. Then we were on stream, and Suriyanlek needs to just go in there and make it ugly and box this motherfucker. And when he did that, he got his knockdown and he made it a quick fight, and then Decho had to survive that third round. And it was a very, very close contested performance. I think it was split decision, if I'm not mistaken. Decho, so it was unanimous. Decho did win it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry, Suriyanlek won.
Okay, so I think that's probably why they're making the rematch, because it was. Yeah, I don't know, because I remember Suriyanlek, he won that third round. That's where he got the knockdown. But Decho was polishing him up for that first 2 rounds. Anyway, the fight was very close, and then it erupted the crowd. So I'm all in, bro. I don't know if this is main event, but dude, if it's just on the fight card, we're tuning in.
For sure. All right, then, BG. We also got Nico Carrillo looking absolutely stoked at 155, bro. Actually, I haven't been keeping up with the Nico Carrillo news, so maybe you could tell us. Does he have a fight at 173?
Yes, not at 173. He's got a fight at the next fight night card, which is November 7th, if I'm not mistaken. That's the
Okay.
fight night 37. He's fighting against the chef Luke Lissay, or Luke Lisi, as they say. Uh,
Shout out
um,
to Cody.
and that's well, I'm not taking any jabs. I just thought it was quite funny because I'll keep saying Lissay because it's EI. I didn't know it was C. Anyway, yeah, this fight coming in place in 2 weeks time, I think, or no, 3 weeks time. The reason why I brought it up was I saw some people posting about Nico Carrillo's transformation, and my first call when this guy arrived in one championship was he needs to be tested. I feel like this dude is on something. He's on something massive, and again, just looking at this is why I put the article in there. I'm not going to talk too much about the fight because I want to reserve that for when I do the preview. But I wanted to more highlight, like, look at this man, bro. If you can zoom in there, like, look at this. This is not, oh, I'm just doing my protein shakes and I'm, just eating my high protein diet. You know what I mean? For your veins to look like that, you need to be able to pump it with a lot of oxygen, and you don't just get that from protein. You know what I'm saying? This guy is pretty pumped up. But anyway, that's just my little speculation. Obviously, what I'm saying is not true. We don't until it's all proven. But he's fighting against a top 5 contender. Lucas he's not an easy matchup for anybody in that featherweight Muay Thai division. And I do think he can get the job done. Luke Lissay is a little bit chinny and he gets tagged in a lot of his fights. He gets dropped in a lot of his fights as well. He actually got dropped in all his fights in one championship so far. But he's very crafty and he's tricky and he can catch you in angles. And one thing about what Nico Carrillo is that he's hungry for the pressure. He wants to keep staying on you and he just wants to box. Man barely throws a kick. He wants to stay on you the whole time and just box hard. And those are moments where he's so aggressive and he also needs to be very, very careful. Because that's where Luke is very sharp. Tricky motherfucker, bro. So this fight is massive one and I can't wait for it. Honestly. This prime gourmet Muay Thai we're gonna get on the 7th of November.
Let's go. Give us your thoughts in the comments, ladies and gentlemen. Let us know. Is Nico Carrillo on the juice based on this picture? I think it's very difficult to argue with that. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. The truth always does come out. We got Tye Ruotolo fight news. Not really fight news as of yet. Not really fight news as of yet, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, PG. Yeah.
Sorry, before we come to Tye, I just want to say, look how easy it was for one championship to test fighters like Ferrari, Cameron Nabati, and the list goes on. There's a lot of guys that were tested, right? But Nico Carrillo, I would argue, is in that category of fighters where if Chowton and his team sitting there and looking at the list of athletes and they're saying, okay, who of these guys are ones that we can really market? Like these are ones that can really help sell the brand, right? And we put Nico Carrillo next to a Ferrari or even a Cameron Nabati, and you ask who are people gonna watch more? Who's making bigger waves on social media? Who are the crowd actually most intrigued to check out here? Nico Carrillo is one of your guys, so we're not gonna test him. We're gonna keep his tests, one side because he's actually one of the guys that does bring in a large portion of our numbers. So I'm just thinking like that's probably why we have never seen anything like that for Nico Carrillo. I mean, Cody Jerome said he's never been tested. You know what I mean? In one championship. So something to think about. Because I mean, Ferrari, he didn't look half the size of Nico Carrillo, but he got tested. Cameron Abate as well didn't look anything like this. He just looked like he was just better than everybody. Then he was found out to be monster. Anyway, let's see.
Yeah, I mean it's all you're making a lot of sense, bro. But let's go again. We got Tye Ruotolo fight news. Not really fight news, but just knowing that he has another fight coming soon. Possibly at 173, even though the card is already bursting at the seams here, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you make? You wanted to possibly put out a few ideas for his next opponent? Give us your thoughts here,
Yes,
bro.
that's mainly what I wanted to talk about. Like, just as the idea, because I mean, it's Tye Ruotolo, right? When fight news comes out, people go, okay, who is he going to fight? And considering that's going to be MMA, I don't think it's going to go back to jiu-jitsu, considering like where the progression is and what they're currently training. I know it says that they're talking about coming soon for Japan. That's also because there's still one more fight to be announced for the 173 fight card. We only have 16 bouts as it stands. There's supposed to be one more fight, and I think it's going to probably be someone like Shimon Yoshinari or Tawan Chai fighting against another Japanese star because he says he's back to go. This is why I don't think it's going to be Tye Ruotolo on the Japanese card, just because um, ooh, you know what I mean? Which Japanese fighter is going to fight against in the lightweight MMA division of one championship? Is nobody. However, based on fighters that are currently in one championship in the lightweight division and consistently fighting, or at least active enough to be consistent, we know that on that fight card, 173, Christian Lee's taking on Ali Ruotolo for the rematch. But then the other fighters of there, who else is out there? There's Zhang Lepeng. I think he lost his last fight, if I'm not mistaken. Khalil Amir, he's another guy that could be fighting. I think he fought against another Russian wrestler who just out wrestled him. So it wasn't Fremenov, but Fremenov's another guy. I'm just thinking like if he beat Christian, if he beat Adrian Lee, who was climbing the rankings, who would Tye get next? Because he fought someone that it wasn't like he fought a Nicholas Vigna, but like the way Tye Ruotolo fought a bunch of nobodies. He's fighting someone that's also climbing the rankings, so I think he's probably gonna fight someone higher. I know someone mentioned in the comments that he could be fighting against Shinya Aoki. I don't want that. I don't want to see that. That makes no sense for Tye Ruotolo, considering that I think Kado really tapped him out before. And yeah, I mean Shinya Aoki, let the guys rest, my bro. Like he's over 40 now. Let him retire, please. You know what I'm saying? It makes no sense to make that fight happen. So I think realistically, they're gonna give him someone that's active. Not a top 5 contender, but someone that's active. And names I just mentioned now are the most recent active lightweight fighters outside of Ali Ruotolo, Christian Lee. So yeah, let's see. Hopefully the news comes very, very soon. I'll be very surprised if it's for the Japanese fight card because I can't see a Japanese opponent for him.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Let us know your thoughts in the comments there, ladies and gentlemen. Very much a lot to speculate about here regarding Tye Ruotolo's next fight. We'll be fascinated to hear those thoughts. Hamsal is now a free agent, PG.
Yeah. I'm
What's your
upset
thoughts
about
here,
this
bro?
one because I think they did it dirty again. Another fighter that's been released where why she was active. You know what I mean? We just get Hamsu. I think her last fight was Ayaka Miura, if I'm not mistaken. But she fought for the title. I don't get it. You know what I mean? And also if you think about it this way, Lisa Mbawanga was gonna fight against who was she gonna fight? Ayaka Miura for the 173 fight card, right? Lisa Mbawanga doesn't make it. Now I'm thinking, okay, what can you do? You put Stamp versus Kana Marimoto, no title fight. I'm like, what the hell? Stamp's an actual she's a champion. So I'm just thinking to myself, wow, Hamsu, he's still there. She's still on a good in the top 5. I mean, look here, four fights in one championship against she beat Denise Mbawanga twice. She beat Itsuki Rata, who's also on the 173 fight card, and she lost to Stamp Vertex. And then now she's released free agent. I'm like, what? She could have filled in. They could have done Ayaka Miura versus Hamsu Hee interim title. And then when Denise comes back, and Denise fights against the winner of that fight. You know what I mean? Now Ayaka Miura is sitting there checking, what now? Who must Ayaka Miura fight? She's fighting who? She's not even on the card. On the 173 fight card. So what was all this win streak that she did throughout 2024 into 2025? And tapping everybody out, 4-fight win streak, tapping everybody, or 6-fight win streak, tapping everybody out, not even fighting on the Japanese fight card. Where there was an opponent there ready to go. Even Shadowcat, even though she lost, was ready to go. You know what I mean? And then we actually find out that Stamp who was the former champion, is now active and she's fighting on the card. You know what I mean? They could have done Stamp versus Hamsugi again, interim title, or Stamp versus Ayaka Miura, interim title, not Stamp versus what's the name, Marimoto. Anyway, I just feel like it's again and shady that a fighter that is active in the top 5, fought for the title, beat Denise, who is the current champion twice, is now being released. Yeah, that's shady. For
I
me
mean,
again.
yeah, but disappointed, but not surprised. You know,
Yeah.
nothing should surprise us from one championship anymore, especially considering the last batch of fighters they released. So nobody's safe, guys. Nobody's safe. That was our last story that we wanted to cover, BG. But since then, I see that we have some other fight news. This one, of course, previously ended in a no contest. But we do have Shadow versus Muhammad Yunus Rabat 2 coming up at One Fight Night 38. Like I said, the first one ending due to an unfortunate eye poke there. So, BG, maybe just some initial thoughts before we wrap up the show.
Yeah, look, make it happen. I do think, I remember before the eye poke, Shadow was putting it on Jonas, backing him up. So I think this is going to be a fun fight, and they have been going back and forth respectfully to each other on social media. Jonas is like, let's get the run back and finish business. Shadow's like, I'm happy to oblige. Let's go. Let's get the run back. Shadow, very unlucky in his last fight. I thought he did a very good job in that kickboxing match. Who did he fight again? But he did a very good job, even though he lost.
Liu.
Yes, Ming Yang.
Yeah.
Because of the knockdown, he lost. But I mean, he was winning the fight. He was winning 2 rounds to 1. So I think this is a good rematch. I'm gonna give it an early call. Shadow's gonna win the fight. I saw enough of that first round to notice that he's got the stuff to back Jonas up. Even though I think Jonas is deadly on the back foot. I mean, we've seen him knock people down from backwards. So yeah, I'm all in. I think this fight I'm gonna miss because this is the fight where the fight card's gonna be during the Iron Dream, this guy's dream. I'll watch the fight card back off.
If anybody knows, you know. If you know, you know. Brother Gaia's dream. But yeah, that wraps up our new show very nicely, BG. Thank you very much. And thank you very much all for watching. If you haven't made this far, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Got more content coming so you can watch the podcast every day. Joe Rogan.
Let's go. Stay tuned, guys. Before I tell you what to watch, what's going to come out this weekend, please go check out on our channel. We've got some really good insight from Cody Jerome about what's going on from his experience at One Championship, largely talking about the weight and hydration test. I know we all talk about that and about it in our communities. Go check it out. This guy breaks it down. What you can expect from Fighting With Friendz this week. So we will have the UFC 321 preview coming out on Wednesday. Can't wait for that one. It's going to be absolutely insane. And also on Thursday, we will have the preview released for you guys for the One Friday Fights 1:30. Then live for One Friday Fights 1:30 on Friday at 2:30 South African time. And then we also will be nicely live at 4 p.m. on Saturday for the UFC 321, where Tom Aspinall will prove why he is the greatest heavyweight of this generation. Stay tuned for that. For myself, Fighting With Friendz team. Thank you for tuning in. Like, share, and subscribe. And we will catch you in the next one. Cheers.